Hello, it's Fred from Pickleball Guys, and welcome back for another video review. We've recently brought in a very unique line of pickleball paddles made by the Canadian company Owl Sport. I've heard a lot about these paddles, and I'm really excited to try these out. I'll try my best to contain my excitement so I can give you an honest review of how they play. But first, let's get into what makes these paddles so unique, and I'm cringing at myself for when I say this, I can't help it. Such a hoot. These Owl paddles have a surface material called acoustine graphene, which is supposed to provide a softer and arm-friendly feel, but also has sound dampening attributes. The material is reminiscent of some type of felt, but it's not felt. It's their own proprietary fabric infused with nanotechnology that is both water-resistant and shock-absorbing. Layered over top of a carbon-faced polymer honeycomb core, they were designed with the intention of solving the problem of noise complaints that came from surrounding communities with pickleball. Owl has gone to great lengths to make a paddle that is USAPA approved for tournament and league play, and even became the first approved paddle of USAPA's quiet category, which was recently created to recognize products that reduce acoustic output during play without negatively impacting performance. So it's pretty cool to see that the USA Pickleball Association is supporting noise reduction solutions, and Owl's taking the lead in that pursuit. Owl has introduced 4 variations of paddles, 2 13mm and 2 60mm paddle shapes. The PX and PXE are Owl's Power Series 13mm variants, while the CX and CXE are the Control Series 16mm variants. The PX and CX are both traditional shaped paddles with paddle lengths of 15.8 inches, paddle widths of 7.9 inches, handle lengths of 4.6 inches, while the PXE and CXE are the elongated counterparts within their respective series, having paddle lengths of 16.3 inches, paddle widths of 7.5 inches, and handle lengths of 5 inches. The Power Series paddles are fairly lightweight, being between 7.5 and 7.6 ounces, while the Control Series are just a touch heavier, but only weighing between 7.8 and 7.9 ounces. Now, I've spent a good amount of time testing out the various Owl paddles, so let's get into what I would rate them in terms of power, control, spin, and maneuverability. The Owl paddles are deceptively powerful. The PX and PXC are the power models and certainly deliver good power. The CX and CXE, they aren't quite as powerful. They aren't lacking in this category either. I think the softer sound from the paddle face is deceiving and hides how much power is really being delivered. So this could potentially throw some opponents off their game a little bit. Good players are obviously trained to watch the ball, but they also take in some visual cues from their opponent's swing and biomechanics to help them anticipate shots. Sound can subconsciously play a part in helping players anticipate, and this is why it might take an opponent some time to adjust to the powerful shots coming off an Owl paddle. I would give the PX and PXC an 8.5 out of 10, and the CX and CXE an 8 out of 10 in terms of power. The control really stood out to me with the Owl paddles. There's some serious dwell time with the ball on the paddle face, and I could really feel my shots going where I wanted them to. So you can expect some accurate shot placement with these paddles. They also felt great when I was resetting or taking pace off the ball, and that's what I'm looking for when I go to rate control. So I give the PX and PXE a 9 out of 10 for control, and I give the CX and CXE a 10 out of 10 in terms of control. I was definitely curious as to how they perform for spin. They have such a unique texture on the surface, but they don't bite into the ball quite as well as some of the raw carbon or aramid fiber paddles out there. This isn't to say that they perform poorly for spin. They still provided some decent spin, but not as much as I was probably expecting. I guess I was expecting some insane spin potential, but I think a gritty surface will provide a little bit more spin potential than the softer surface of the Owl paddles. So I give these paddles a 7.5 out of 10 in terms of spin. All of the Owl paddles have felt very maneuverable. They aren't that heavy to begin with, and I can feel the majority of the weight towards the handle, so they are very well balanced. Probably one of the most arm-friendly paddles I've gotten to hit with. So if you happen to be dealing with any arm or wrist issues, this paddle is definitely a great solution, especially since there's basically no shock or vibration coming through the paddle thanks to its acoustine surface material. So I would give the Owl paddles a 10 out of 10 in terms of maneuverability. So my final thoughts here, I absolutely need to talk about how quiet these paddles truly are. It's a bit of a hear it to believe it type of thing going on here, as I can't express enough how much quieter they are compared to any other approved paddle out there. Just testing it next to another paddle, you can tell that the Owl paddle is a lot quieter. It's substantially lower decibel level, which, as you can imagine, is very neighborhood friendly in the sense that you'll appease anyone complaining about the typical noise level that the game of pickleball naturally has. But noise level aside, these paddles are a delight to play with and perform amazing. I definitely recommend trying one out for yourself. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how well they play. Thank you for watching. Please let us know in the comments if you have any questions or if there are other products you'd like to see us review in the future. You can find the Owl pickleball paddles available here at pickleballguys.ca and pickleballguys.com. Come check us out.